Okay, recording in progress. Today, I'm looking at Marilyn because Marilyn is joining in person at the library. There she is. Okay, it's fun to see that. We got some good juju. And also today is our day 10 of our cleanse and of our purification cleanse, which is 1 to 3 smoothies a day. And it's a lot of smoothies. And then we are still doing it for another 11 days, and then we have reached day 21, and then we have done our 21-day purification cleanse, and we're sticking with it, and we're doing the best we can. One question was, how should I layer out my smoothies? Do I drink them in a row, or do I mix them up, or how do I drink them? Yes, and sometimes it's in the beginning, it feels easy to drink them maybe one after another, and it feels good because we came off of not maybe drinking smoothies for maybe a year, who knows, or maybe we drink smoothies, but if we don't, then it feels refreshing for the body. The body's kind of ready to release the liver and the kidneys are ready to like release the toxins and purify, and it feels good, and the body's kind of craving it, and it feels good. And then at the midpoint where we're at now, and this goes for starting and ending like day 1 or day 21, is sometimes it feels better to drink the 2 smoothies first thing in the morning, like breakfast and lunch, and then eat our like 1 to 2 meals in the afternoon. Sometimes that is too much, and then perhaps we eat a warm whole food breakfast of the foods that are allowed on our pantry list, and then we layer in the smoothies in between. So maybe they're 3 to 4 hours apart. Maybe some of us are sipping them a little bit the whole day. It doesn't really matter. What matters, because it was Marilyn's question, so that's why I keep looking at her. What matters is that it feels good and we don't get too bloated, and because then it's too much too fast, and then it's like the intestines and the whole digestive tract is kind of working a little overdrive of trying to process and vacuum all of the nooks and crannies on the way out with the product that we're using, which is the whole foods in the smoothie powder, which is, I should bring the list and read them, but it's all the goodness. Please read on the back of your tub what the ingredients are. I know it's broccoli, I know it's sprouts, I think it's grapeseed extract, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, did I say that? And then it's red beets, and there's all these things that are really purifying for especially the liver, which is the big cleanser of our blood. And once the liver is happy and up to par, then we can digest the other foods a little bit easier, and that would be why we're on this cleanse, so that we can digest foods more with ease, and there's no stoppers in the body. Sometimes if we haven't done a cleanse, or we don't have to do a cleanse, but maybe we're on the same routine of eating year in and year out, and we feel like we're getting kind of stopped up, or we feel bloated, or it's kind of, yes, or it's kind of stuck in the system, then it feels good to do this, to do these smoothies. Either they are, if they're layered, it works different for each and every one of us. And some days it even works different. Some days we're like, okay, I'm filled up, I need the smoothie later, I need food now. Or we had maybe a bigger meal in the evening, we want less food in the morning, so layer it. The key is to get the 2 to 3 smoothies in. In a perfect world, for our intestines, if it works, then we drink the smoothies earlier on, because it goes through faster. And then we have a meal or 2 in the afternoon and evening, and our snacks, whatever we're eating, they're more the whole foods later on, because they last longer in the digestive system. And then we feel a little bit fuller overnight. And then as we age, sometimes it feels much better to eat less in the evening, because our body doesn't need as much. Yes, amen to that. It's happening. So whatever works for our intake of our smoothies. So with that, I also wanted to say that if we tip off the wagon, then we bring ourselves back up again. The whole thing with these 21 days is not, oh, we had a piece of meat, we tasted some other whole foods, that maybe wasn't on the list, the key is to not give in for our any processed foods. If we do, then we'll hop back on the wagon again. We notice if we do, and it kind of feels a little funky if we end up doing it. Our body will definitely tell us. But the whole key is to do these 21 days and up-level our eating, and maybe we'll stick with only whole foods for the rest of our lives. That would be amazing, and not be tempted by anything else. Yes. And also, I wanted to just touch base on the previous video, which was about grains. And I talked about the 4 great grains, which was brown rice, buckwheat, quinoa, and millet. Those are just considered the 4 great grains to digest for our body, because they are high protein, high B vitamins, and easier to digest. So that is also why they're not to be confused with that they should be eaten during this cleanse. What they recommend, what works the best to pull toxins out of the body is for these 21 days is buckwheat and quinoa. There was another question yesterday. So that's it. Now we're going to jump into dairy today, and not to be confused with that we should start eating dairy today. No, this is just a few hints about dairy if you'd like to hear it. So here we go. There is a dairy that's been heated up a lot that might not be very beneficial for our stomachs and for our digestive system. And then there is the more whole food dairy that can be very beneficial. So what we're going to just go through here is, okay, so we have milk, we have all the dairy. Some of them we know that the ones that are added sugars, added flavors, added colors, they have no benefit for our digestive system. And then we also know that the mainstream dairy has a lot of hormones. They give the cows hormones so that they will produce more milk. And there they are eating hormones, getting injections or whatnot, and antibiotics. Yes, thank you. And all of the things that we do not need for our digestive system. And what happens is that we eat it, and then we get perhaps a little sick or a lot sick. Who knows? So what I am just going to bring up, that there is hormone-free dairy, there is hormone-free all the dairy, and antibiotic-free all the dairy. So we look for that if we're going to go for that. And for some, it works really well, and for some, it doesn't. It's very bio-individuality if we should consume dairy or not. The more easier to consume for our human digestive tract is real butter and the plain yogurts and the plain kefirs. Plain. Goat dairy is, of course, much easier on the human digestive system. And at this point, 2025, most of us have probably heard that. Has a different flavor, but maybe could work well with cooking. Another thing about cow dairy is that, if we haven't heard it before, I will say it again, that it has a different kind of sugar. That's why there are lactose milk and lactose-free milk. So with the lactose, that has to do with the sugar that is meant for the calves. So that is meant to grow bones and make the calves happy and healthy. And it's not necessarily meant for the human body and digestive system. So if it works for you, great. And if it doesn't, maybe you want to investigate, hey, am I consuming too much lactose dairy? Am I consuming lactose-free dairy? Well, what's in that milk or dairy? Have they put a different sugar in that one just for our taste buds? So we will come back for more of that. So it's good to kind of check and see if we can stick with plain. That is very beneficial for the body, for our bones, for the calcium, grass-fed, of course. And, if we have issues with our breath, respiratory issues, then maybe we look into if we are consuming a lot of dairy, because it can create a whole lot of mucus in our body from the lactose that some human bodies cannot consume or process. Some can, some cannot. So it's good to kind of check that. Skin issues, all things like that, acne and all those things. Those are little things to look for and investigate what is our dairy consumption. And there's no, I don't want to say good or bad, just check it out. Check it out, what sugar's in it, make sure it's natural, make sure it's plain, make sure it doesn't have any colors in it, all of those things. I haven't found a coconut milk that I know that doesn't contain gum, or one I know of the other. I know that's the thing with the coconut milk. It would be perhaps in the can, like the canned coconut milk, but they still might have gum. I cannot remember. There might be some brands in the cans of the coconut milk that might just be coconut milk. Look in the, yeah, I think they do, Terry. Coconut milk, yes, in the cold section, in the paper cartons, they do have gum and safflower or canola sometimes in them. Go for the coconut milk in the other aisle section. They are not, they are more by the Oriental food. Okay, also, what do you do with clumps or chunks in the coconut milk? That's a good question. Yeah, I would just blend it a little bit more, put it in a blender. And sometimes it's just because it's, you know, maybe it has been standing too much, or shake it up. Or if it's like coconut chunks, maybe it's just coconut chunks in there. I would just hit it in the blender a little bit more until hit it maybe first in the blender and then put it back in the box. That's what I would do. Yeah, or chew it. I don't know if it tastes good, like a piece of candy. Yeah, I would probably do something like that. And next, okay, tomorrow we have one more thing. We have one more thing, because tomorrow is day 11 and it is time to start adding protein. This is a big thing, actually. Yeah. It's a big thing. We add protein tomorrow, day 11, which is for this cleanse group. Some of you starting before, some of you started this last week. So take it on your day 11, add protein. A size of our palm is about the correct size. And I would suggest to eat, if you haven't had protein for this diet, no eggs, no chicken, no fish, if you haven't had protein, I would suggest to have the protein perhaps even in the middle of the day, so your body and your stomach has time to digest it, so you don't have to experience that during the nighttime, if that makes sense. Yeah, and then that which leads us, and then we just do as normal. We do our 2 to 3 smoothies. We're probably gonna need less smoothies when we add the protein. And now the protein, or adding this protein, we're hoping that we can just simply, instead of adding the foods that we ate before, that we wean ourselves off. When we have come to day 21, then we wean ourselves off smoothies, unless we want to keep it for like a breakfast smoothie or a lunch smoothie, which we can do forever and ever. But then we keep to just whole foods or protein, like our macros, which is our carbohydrates, our proteins, and our fats, which we're going to talk about on Sunday, which will be a whole nother day and date that we talk about then, but it's in 3 days. We have Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, which is our next call, and that will be about macros. That would be exciting. Yes, and how we should eat that. Yeah. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Marilyn and Terry, for being here, and thank you for you who are listening, and we'll talk again on Sunday about macros.